Hey guys, it's Aaron here from Krampus Arisoft. Now, I know this is going to be boring for some of our more advanced players, but for our basic beginners, I know we're going to get asked this, so we're just doing this video in heads. The difference between a version 2 and a version 3. These are the most simple, most basic, and most seen gearboxes you will see in the Airsoft community. So that's why we're doing this. Now, the basics is we're going between an M4, which is your version 2, and an AK, which is your version 3. So now I'm just going to turn it over to Colin, and he's going to open them up, show you the insides and out, and explain everything to you in detail. Turning it over to you, bro.
Hey guys, I'm Colin from Krampus Arisoft, and I'm the tech head for Krampus Airsoft. I'm going to be doing a breakdown on the V2 and the V3 gearboxes for all those new people out there. So to start off, we have the version 2 gearbox, which is usually an M4 variant. To start off, the motor is a long type motor, and it's all of the air compression and drivetrain is held into the V2 gearbox. We have the V3 gearbox shell, which all the air compression and drivetrain is held in this one. And then we have a short type motor, which is held in a motor cage. To break it down even further, separate the motors, long type, short type. As far as the internals go, you can have this gun front wired, which is the wiring go to the front handguard. You can have the wiring go out to the rear, which is what this one is set up to. We run Deans, and some of the parts in this gun have been upgraded, but primarily it's a stock gun. So, opening this up, we have all of the internals. So to break it down, we have a spring guide. Okay, you can buy upgrade parts as always. This is just really stock plain. We have the air compression system, which consists of a tablet plate and return spring, an air nozzle, which goes on top of the tablet plate, the piston and piston head assembly, the cylinder and cylinder head assembly. All of this works together to give you air compression. Without any air compression, you have no FPS. So that's that. Next, we have the drivetrain. The drivetrain is your gears. All of the power goes through your motor and drives these to drive the piston backwards. So it drives all of this and pulls everything backwards to fire the piston. So you have your bevel, spur, and sector. All of these have their own ratios. This is a stock gear set, so it's an 18:1 gear ratio. And that's pretty much it. These are sitting inside of bushings. These are solid SHS bushings. You can get different sizes, anywhere from 6 to 7 to 8 millimeter ball bearing or solid bushings. We have a sector clip on here. That is to help with your feeding. That way you have more solid shots and you have no feeding issues. Next, we have the wiring, which is just your stock wiring, no MOSFETs. And then we have the standard V2 trigger system. So with the V2 trigger system, you have the trigger, the safety latch, which moves up and down to stop you from pulling the trigger. When it's up, you can't pull the trigger. When it's down, you can pull the trigger. When you pull the trigger, it pulls the trigger contact forward, connecting with the other two trigger contacts, sending all electrical system through. And you have the return spring here. We have the cutoff lever right here. So when you're on semi, it's down, you pull the trigger, that goes forward, you hit the anti-reversal latch, and it cuts this off of the trigger, cutting your power on semi. When this is up, you have full up auto, and it just goes. That's just the simple breakdown of this gun. There's a lot more you need to know to be able to do tech work. It's not as easy as it looks. I should know, I've been doing it for 5 years. The V3 is very, very similar to the V2. This is the breakdown of the V3, which is commonly found in AK variants. So the motor is a short type in a motor can. This is the V3 gearbox shell. So starting off, we have the spring and spring guide. The spring is not this size in real life, people. It will shoot out the spring guide. I've had that happen when I started. So this is a ball bearing V3 gearbox, and this is a V3 spring guide. This one has ball bearings, which helps with many different things, and reliability. We have the air compression train, which consists of your tablet plate and return spring, your air nozzle, your piston and piston head, your cylinder and cylinder head. Cylinder head. Next, we have the drivetrain, which consists of the motor, the bevel, spur, and sector gear. So, essentially, you pull the trigger, and the power goes through the motor and drives all of these gears, which drives back the piston, giving you all of your FPS. These are sitting inside of 6mm bushings. These are solid bushings. You can get them in different sizes, and you can get them solid or ball bearing. Ball bearing will increase your rate of fire, but they are less unstable. Then we have the V3 trigger system, which consists of a trigger and your trigger trolley, your trigger contacts. So you pull the trigger, it hits the contacts, and you got power going through. Now we also have the cutoff lever. We pull the trigger, and when you're on semi, it does a full cycle, cuts off the trigger, and there goes your semi feature. And when you're on full auto, this is out of the way, and you have no issues. So, this is the V3 Gearbox Breakdown. We're going to do a comparison of both of them side by side, and that should be good to go. Final video, and this is the comparison of the V2 and the V3 gearboxes apart. As I have said, long type V2, short type V3, AK M4. So pretty much, in my opinion, I like both of these gearboxes equally. They both have their upsides and their downsides. The gears in both of these are the same. They're V2, V3 compatible when you buy an upgrade set. The piston assemblies, piston heads, they're the same. V2, V3 compatible. Cylinders, same thing. Where it gets down to the nit and gritty of it, the spring guides are both differently. V3 has really long tails. V2 has very short tails. Air nozzles, they're both different in length. They're about 2mm in difference. The M4 has a longer air nozzle by 2mm, and the AK has a shorter air nozzle by 2mm. They also have a very difference in the tablet plates. The tablet plates are both of different designs. Just to show you. One's a bit taller than the other. Just a bit, by maybe a mil, which does make a difference, okay? Your other differences is where the springs go on for the release and for that. Other than that, they're slightly different in length, as you can see, and they're almost even. Yeah, right about there. They're different lengths on that. As far as that goes, they also have a different trigger assembly. They take the same wiring, different trigger contacts, and different trigger trolleys, and different triggers. The V2 is most commonly found because everyone uses an M4 variant. The downside with V2s is they have a bad tendency of cracking at the front, right in here. Once that cracks, your air compression is lost and you're pretty well done. If you do some modifications, like most of the techs do, you don't have to worry about that. I have not yet had a V2 gearbox snap out on me because I did some modifications to the gearbox housing and they don't break after you've done that. On the plus side of the V3, it doesn't have that issue of the front end breaking. It's really strong, and the way they designed the gearbox shell, it's not going to break out on you. Other than that, that's it. The V2, it's built for a little bit more of FPS wise, in my opinion. The V3 is more built for reliability. These both are great guns and great gearboxes. You just gotta build them right. Thanks, guys. Please comment, rate, and subscribe to Krampus Airsoft. And as always, you can talk to us on Facebook, on YouTube. Always talk to us. Let us know if we can do anything to help. That'd be great. Let us know. Thanks, guys.
Okay, guys, now we've seen the basic 2 gearboxes that you're probably going to see a large majority of the time on the field. However, there are other gearboxes and hybrid gearboxes, and they're mix and matches of all these other gearboxes. These are just the majority of the time what you're going to see on the field. Now, I know Colin didn't go into an extreme amount of detail on these things. This is a basic movie for beginners wanting to know the basics about the most common gearboxes. That's what this is for. If you want to see us go in depth in gearboxes, then please let us know in the comments and subscribe to that and let us know you want that. However, let's moving on from there. This is Krampus. This is what we do. Let's give a thanks to Colin. He'll probably come back and show you DSG builds, how to shim, stuff like that. All right, guys. Thank you.